I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. You know, every minute I spent with him, I regret, and I, apologize that I did that.
I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time. I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
So you're sitting down there having cocktails while Bill Clinton's getting a massage from some girl who's rubbing her tits against the back of his head, whether knowingly or unknowingly having sex with underage girls.
Everybody wants to be.
Maybe some guys, that was their thing.
Sure.
Because it seemed like with Epstein, that was his thing.
Yeah.
Podcast host Joe Rogan recently stunned listeners by saying that several of his own close friends appeared in the newly released Epstein files. His remarks followed the U.S. government's disclosure of a massive collection of records connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Since their release, these documents have reignited discussion about Epstein's ties to some of the world's most powerful individuals. In this breakdown, attention is focused on who appears in the records and why their presence is drawing renewed scrutiny.
It's so tangled. The whole thing is just, I think everybody who looks at it realizes this is a rabbit hole that just goes to the center of the earth. And there's so many people involved in that. Here's the big question that people ask. If there was a Jeffrey Epstein, and it seems like all these things he was involved in, is there a Jeffrey Epstein right now that we don't know about?
There's a million of them.
A million of them.
I mean, this is why I find this. This is not the core of what I focus on, but I find it a really interesting field of study because it helps understand so many other U.S. government institutions and the relationship between government and private business. Jeffrey Epstein is part of a class of what are effectively professional fixers. And this is a kind of class of professional who sits not really within a particular government or private sector institution, but in the kind of sticky layer between them that connects them all.
Only days earlier, the U.S. Department of Justice released more than 3 million pages of material, along with approximately 2,000 videos and close to 180,000 images related to Epstein investigations. Much of the content was heavily redacted. Even so, observers say patterns remain visible. Political figures, billionaires, major corporate leaders, and members of the British royal family appear repeatedly in association with Epstein, including during periods after his arrest. According to analysts reviewing the data, these were not isolated encounters. The records reportedly include flight manifests, internal correspondence, contact databases, sworn testimony, and video footage that place the same influential individuals around Epstein over multiple years.
You're telling me there's a place where they bring elites to compromise them with underage girls and they film them? Really? Like, what? Cut the f*** out of here.
Yeah.
Like, no, President Clinton's been there. Everyone's been there. Like, what? It sounds like nonsense. And not only is it true, but people keep getting for it. Did you see that latest Clinton advisor that got murdered? Got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hung with an extension cord, himself in the chest, 30 miles from his house, and they're calling it a...
And now even Elon Musk is asking, where's the clientele list?
Yeah.
We should probably see who's been to that island.
Yeah, we should probably see who's been to that island.
What adds to the unease, according to Rogan, is that he claims he heard warnings about Epstein's island long before the general public became aware of it. Rogan has said that Alex Jones warned him decades earlier that disturbing activity was taking place there. Jones allegedly claimed the island functioned not merely as a luxury retreat, but as a location where powerful figures were ensnared through compromising situations. At the time, Rogan says he dismissed the claims as extreme and implausible. In hindsight, he has stated that his dismissal is what now makes the situation feel more disturbing.
He was the guy who told me about Epstein's Island more than a decade ago, and I thought it was the craziest thing I'd ever heard. I was like, what are you saying? There's an island, like it sounds like a plot in a movie. There's an island where they fly famous rich scientists and politicians, and they compromise them with underage girls and get it on film so they could use it against them. I'm like, what? That sounds like lizard people. It sounds like, 5G creates COVID. Same thing.
Yeah.
But turns out it was true. And it's one of many things. He was the first one to warn me about a social credit score system. He's like, they're going to try to implement a social credit score system, and your money is going to be tied. They'll have centralized digital currency, and your money will be tied to your social credit score system, and you step out of line, you won't be able to buy things. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to do anything. They're going to try to keep you within a 15-minute radius of your home, and they're starting to do that in places.
With the most recent release of documents, elements that once appeared unrelated are now being viewed as interconnected. Commentators note that many of the same names surfaced years earlier but were quickly dismissed by media outlets as coincidence or rumor. Now, those same individuals are reportedly appearing again, supported by timelines, repeated communications, and documented interactions within Epstein's broader network.
Chairman of a prominent law firm is stepping down over his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Paul Weiss law chair Brad Karp says in a statement, quote, "Recent reporting has created a distraction and has placed a focus on me that's not in the best interest of the firm." The firm says Karp will remain with the firm, just in a different role. Senior Washington reporter Will Staken is here for more. Hi, Will. So what's the latest on this growing list of prominent people facing scrutiny over the Epstein files?
Yeah, Diane, well I think, Mr. Karp right here is kind of the latest fallout from these Epstein files. Like you said, the really powerful law firm Paul Weiss announced that Mr. Karp would be stepping down after his name appeared in these files. Now, the law firm did not give a reason why Mr. Karp is stepping down, and previously the law firm denied Mr. Karp had any wrongdoing, but with this release of these files, his name appears in the files, mostly with his assistant trying to schedule meetings with Mr. Epstein. But there's an email between Mr. Karp and Epstein where he's asking about if he could help, get his son some kind of job in an upcoming Woody Allen film. So I think these emails, obviously are continuing to have fallout across, widespread industries. It's kind of the latest fallout here. We saw recently that popular wellness influencer Peta Attia also stepped down from his role at the protein company David.
One of the most debated figures named in online discussions surrounding the files is Bill Gates. The documents reportedly include a photograph of Gates alongside a woman whose face has been obscured. Additionally, emails attributed to Epstein allegedly reference Gates discussing efforts to hide a sexually transmitted infection from his wife following encounters involving young Russian women. After these claims circulated, Gates publicly denied them, calling the allegations false and absurd. He suggested Epstein attempted to damage his reputation and cited a 2013 email in which Epstein allegedly made a false accusation involving antibiotics and Melinda Gates.
Listen to Melinda Gates, the former wife of Bill Gates, talking about all of this.
Whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me. And I am so happy to be away from all the muck that was there.
She's happy she's no longer married to Bill Gates. She's happy to be away from the muck, as she put it. And we've just seen this interview with Bill Gates on Channel 9.
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
There we go. I never met any women. Wow, this is getting curiouser and curiouser, Esther.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately for Bill Gates, now he has to probably deal with the insinuation, at least for many people, that Melinda chose to divorce him and get herself out of that world. Also because of his association or his tenuous links, which he denies, with Jeffrey Epstein. The allegation that he presumably got an STD from a Russian prostitute that was associated with Jeffrey Epstein was actually written in a note by Jeffrey Epstein to himself.
The controversy has also been linked to Gates's divorce. Melinda Gates has stated in interviews that Epstein played a role in her decision to leave the marriage. She explained that learning about Bill Gates's continued interactions with Epstein after his conviction caused deep concern and emotional distress well before their separation became public.
Also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time. Did you? Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room at this moment. Your ex-husband, Bill, is named in the newest tranche of Epstein files. And there are new alleged details about his past behavior. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond in whatever way you want to.
Well, let me say this. I think we're having a reckoning as a society, right? No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Gates is not the only individual to claim Epstein attempted blackmail. Multiple people named in the files have made similar assertions, arguing that Epstein collected emails, private communications, and compromising material to use as leverage. On the surface, this explanation appears plausible, as witnesses have said Epstein documented much of his activity. However, Rogan has questioned this narrative. He argues that if blackmail were the sole factor, it does not explain why these individuals continued meeting Epstein repeatedly or how he retained such unrestricted access. Rogan believes another explanation must exist.
Get real and say,
if I gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, who was he working for?
well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Like an asset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy who could move money around.
Right.
He definitely...
Good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money through no way that anybody could ever explain.
Yeah.
He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain. Which, you know, if you're state-funded, you're funded by Israel, and Israel's funded by America, and, you know, there's also NGOs and nonprofits, and there's ways to move money around where you can give this guy money.
Yeah.
So he was like Weinstein, who is an economist, right? Weinstein's a legitimate mathematician.
Eric?
Yeah. So when Eric met him, his first inclination was he was a fraud.
He's a construct.
Yeah, a construct. And did he tell you the whole story about the girl sitting on his lap?
Yep.
So Epstein, while he's meeting with Eric Weinstein for the first time, has a beautiful girl sitting on his lap, and a woman, I shouldn't say girl. He said she was like in her 20s, and she's sitting on his lap, and he's bouncing around, so her tits are juggling around. While
he's asking math questions.
Yeah, talking serious. So he was obviously nerd fishing. He was fishing for nerds, and I think he caught a lot of nerds in that net.
According to this line of reasoning, Epstein could not have operated alone. Critics argue that access to royal families in Saudi Arabia and England does not happen randomly. The idea that a former accountant gained trust among heads of state and billionaires without assistance is viewed by some as unrealistic. Power, they argue, moves through gatekeepers and intermediaries. From this perspective, Epstein's reach suggests institutional or governmental support behind the scenes. 9.
guys that wound up going to that island, they probably thought, this is great. We get to party.
Nothing's free.
And they probably felt like they were rock stars because they get to hang out with the intellectual elite on an island with a guy who's just a billionaire philanthropist who's eccentric, who just loves women. He's a professed bachelor, and it all seemed too good to be true.
It's so true.
Because it was.
Yeah.
So I think he was an asset, whether or not it was for the Mossad strictly or Israel strictly or the United States strictly, whether it was a CIA thing, whatever, I don't know. But I think it was probably a part of a blackmail compromise effort.
Yeah.
Because those guys, there's a fucking dirty secret about these people that are in Congress, and they party, okay? They're regular guys and regular women, and they're in their 30s or 40s or whatever they are, and every now and then they do coke, and they get drunk, and they...
Human beings.
Remember that D.C. madam that had a whole book of people, and then she wound up committing suicide? She said, I'm not suicidal, and
See ya.
Yeah. Because there's probably a lot like that. And those kind of honeypot operations, they let these freaks know, like, hey, you're going to be safe with me. Charlie will take care of everything. Look, Bill Clinton used to come here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to go to the
and
island.
that's a big endorsement. It's like presidents were here, so it must be a secure area.
Exactly.
I can get
we
down.
are on the island with Bill. This is fine.
And
We're
all these
fine.
girls show up, and you're like, well, this is Christmas in July.
Bill is really interested in string theory. He'd like to talk to you about string theory. So you're sitting down there having cocktails while Bill Clinton's getting a massage from some girl who's rubbing her tits against the back of his head while she's massaging him.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, that's really interesting. Hey, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna take a nap.
Another thing about black holes.
Yeah. And I think they all thought that it was this lovely exchange of powerful people and brilliant people, and then they were just getting dirt on all of them. Guys cheating on their wives, guys, whether knowingly or unknowingly, having sex with underage girls.
Everybody wants to
maybe some guys, that was their thing.
Sure.
Because it seemed like with Epstein, that was his thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I don't think there's any evidence to either. I think it's all been, I don't think there was collected with that plea deal, and I don't think there's any list that's going to point to, there's no smoking gun. That's
I don't know about that.
I think it's all been, taken care of. I think that I think you could open up every file.
But that's the truth. Why did they have all those files? Why did they parade around with these binders?
Because
and
a
say,
lot of...
Do you remember those photo ops that they said? Like, look, they did like a thing. We have the Epstein files right here, and they had binders. Like, what kind of political theater is that? If you don't really have the Epstein files,
It's probably theater. And what I mean by that is I think, like, if they are keeping something quiet, it's because it's video of underage girls, or it's video of the victims who don't want that to be out there. And the Justice Department cannot make that public. They cannot bring that to Congress. That's all sealed for their privacy, right?
Well, that is the argument. But then they're saying now that there are no files. They're saying there's no video.
I believe that. Don't you?
I don't know. I think they have video. I think if you're got an island and you want compromise on people, you can't just have hearsay.
I would say I would agree.
I watched him, that girl. Let's sue him. No, that's not how it works. You have to have video, and then you have to show it to the guy. Like Mr. Clinton, have a seat.
Newest files have also drawn attention to figures connected to Donald Trump's broader circle. Trump has denied wrongdoing and says he severed ties years earlier, yet his name reportedly appears numerous times in the documents. More notably, individuals close to him, including Steve Bannon, Elon Musk, and Howard Lutnick, are said to appear in emails and messages showing friendly communication with Epstein after his arrest. Emails from 2012 and 2013 allegedly reference potential meetings, travel plans, and even a possible island visit involving Musk. One message reportedly mentions Musk asking about the wildest night on the island, which critics say conflicts with his public statements. Musk has denied ever visiting the island or flying on Epstein's plane and maintains the emails are being misinterpreted. Nonetheless, the records indicate prior contact between the two.
Context. Still, the records clearly show that he knew Epstein.
And a top Justice Department official says the review of the Jeffrey Epstein files is over. The same official indicated there would be no new charges. Now the Trump administration is facing backlash from Epstein survivors and Democrats. This was California Congressman Ro Khanna yesterday.
There is a demand for elite accountability, but the survivors' lawyers that I've talked to have said that the survivors are still upset. They're upset that many of their names accidentally came out without redactions, and they want to make sure the rest of the files come out.
CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us from our Washington bureau with more on this. Scott, you've been sifting through as much of this as you can. What's in this so-called final batch?
It's a process. We're still working through millions of pages here, Errol. And it's worth noting these were released more than 40 days after the legal deadline for the Department of Justice to do so. No one besides Epstein and former associate Ghislaine Maxwell has been charged, but the Department of Justice insisting its work is done has only fueled more controversy.
Rogan has also criticized the government's handling of the document release. He argues that if there were nothing to conceal, the information would have been released all at once without heavy redactions. Instead, the files have emerged slowly, fragmented, and delayed, even after congressional orders. The Justice Department has acknowledged missing deadlines and confirmed that significant portions of the material remain withheld.
Epstein releases, like before we got started, first of all,
the photo dump and the emails. Nuts.
But it's also they're doing it so slowly. Like, you guys have had this stuff for a year.
We were promised multiple times, it's coming.
Doesn't it seem like you could just throw all that into AI at this stage of the game?
Yes.
And just redact the names of the victims and let's go?
Yeah, of course.
It seems like that would take 5 minutes.
I mean, it feels like, you can't help but feel like the administration is just like watching their back, and that's why it's happening.
Watching someone's back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all speculative why they haven't released it, but it's not good. It's not good for everybody's confidence.
No.
It's not good that this thing was going on, that they had this bizarre blackmail operation running. That's very weird.
Very strange.
Very weird. But it kind of makes sense. Because if you're a 60-year-old billionaire and you're a freak and you like to get your freak on, but unfortunately you're a gigantic software developer and everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to get your freak on.
Well, that's the thing is it makes sense when you go like, oh, some of these dudes really like visiting that place.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the only place they can go.
Right.
You can't go anywhere else.
Right. And that's why they set it up for them.
Yeah.
Eric Weinstein said that to me once. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
If you're the former president of the United States, you can't go to a nightclub.
Yeah, he said, I think there are people out there that provide experiences for certain people that have a hunger for them.
Yeah.
I was like, of course. And that's also how they compromise people too, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how they get you to vote the way they want you to vote and play ball. Bobby, we got video, you sucking a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? Yeah. Because, I bet all those people have something on them. That's how they stay in the game.
They have to.
It's like skull and bones. You got to suck the dick.
Well, look at
otherwise we can't trust you.
For the Epstein shit, look at the level of people that we're visiting. I mean, it's all at the highest level of influence, power, and fame.
Yeah.
And so you go, yeah, this dude wants to do some wild shit. He can't go to Cheetahs and get it done. You know?
Yeah.
You can't do it. He's got to go somewhere. Yeah. What sounds good? A private island.
Yeah. He can't just order up a call girl.
It's too risky.
Where are you going? I'm going to Captain Billionaire's house to suck his dick. I do it every Tuesday. Plus, I'm on meth.
According to Rogan, this may only be the beginning. He has referenced the Pizzagate theory, explaining that when flight logs, island visits, email language, and partially unredacted records are examined together, unusual patterns emerge, patterns that mainstream media rarely address. The renewed Epstein disclosures have intensified online debate because the word pizza reportedly appears nearly 900 times across millions of documents. Although Pizzagate was officially dismissed following a violent incident in 2016, some online communities argue that repeated use of seemingly innocent terms may indicate coded language. They believe this could link Epstein's confirmed crimes to a broader network. Viewers are left to decide what stands out most and whether these revelations change how the story is understood.